Hello everybody. About 2017, 2018 on the original Sun and Moon group, when we used to go live and do these hangouts live where the bit you're going to listen to was done live at the time, artists and other members in the Sun and Moon group at that time, well, this is artists talking. What it is I've put another part of a hangout out on Sun and Moon about it. When artists looked at Google Map, all he could find was these electrical arcings that had happened. And even if you don't see it exit or leave, it goes into the ground and comes out of the ground. And it could be a mile away, 10 miles away, 20 miles away and on, depending on how big that strike was. Some electrical arcing strike. Over time, what's actually happened is, where a positive strike has happened, the trees grow, very abundant, fertile, and where it exited, ores, mining, quarrying, minerals. So different. And what he saw was, he could see the arcing had gone in and it came out there, but when you've zoomed out on a map or you're looking at Google Maps, sometimes these arcings, the distance between the arcing in and out was about 20-30 miles. So you see how big these arcings were. What we reckoned was that if these arcings hit you, you'd have been evaporated. And this is what it did to the buildings. Now, a lot of people think, we don't know really what happened. We've got no proof. But it really looks like Earth is covered in electrical arcings. Was it technology? Was it them? Has there been some enormous great war which they've not told us about? Because obviously you're going to hear what artist is going to tell you about these buildings. What the hell has gone on? Is it a natural phenomenon? Could it be like lightning? Or has it been a man-made thing? There are a lot of electrical arcings all over the place we live. So I just don't know. But when you see, they weren't maybe stone to start with. And Wise Up does an awful lot about this. Obviously, this is artists' research, and we must have had at least 3, because one is explaining the arcings, and I think there was a couple more, and I've put the couple more, but I wasn't so good at putting the names on the videos, but they're on my computer somewhere. But this is another part of it. It's been hit, whether it's man-made or natural. It happened. Watch the video and then write below what your thoughts are. Anyway, let's watch the video.
Yeah, over there.
Okay. Well, this is a brick strike zone in India. Again, India, just like I mentioned. And over here in this area, you see this is the strike zone. It's not that visible because there's a lot of development in that area. Agriculture and cities, of course. So therefore, a lot of the strikes is a little bit faded away. But you can still see the form of the strike zone. The mountains are a ripple effect here out to the sea. We can see in this area over here, they have a temple. And this is the Masaru Temple in Madhya Pradesh in India. And this is from a site that somebody actually wrote something that made a little bit more sense than Wikipedia. And he states the amazing Ashmore temple complex ornamentally carved out of a single rock. So this was a single rock and they carved it out. So it's a great effort they did. In cutting this out, you can see already that it is destroyed. Some pieces have fallen off. According to the locals, The locals often have the better story than actually the people who will excavate this site and research it, because they are sometimes have a different agenda. So it's often better to ask the locals. According to the locals, these temples were built by the Hirma during the times, Maharashtra times, more than 500 years ago. And that's the estimate, of course. 50 temples from a single group with larger temples. So this is basically this temple. You can see on the top what is interesting, that all the points of the top are darker. This whole area, you can say, well, maybe it's because of rain. No, because these lower parts have darker tops. Only the highest one are very darkened. You can see the stone is also melted almost here. It could be weathering, but you can see in the more pictures I will show that you can clearly see that it is almost looks to appear to be melted, this temple. Here you can see it from the side. Again, those darkened towers here, they are very darkened. So that's interesting. You can see this almost becomes like a piece of clay that is heated. It melts like a candle. Here you can see the carvings melt away. You can ripple effect. It's melted like a candle. So that's interesting, because it was cut out of the background. And it was also, it appears not to be finished, because the temple inside is not carved out. Only a small pathway to the front door is carved out, and the rest isn't carved out. Or it's also melted, because the strike on this area. You look here, you can see the actually size of this temple. Two people standing on top of it. You can see those darkened patches near, so it goes all the way down. That whole, you can see it appears to be melted. Some say it is not finished, but it doesn't fit, because if you would carve further, it doesn't fit anymore. There are pieces already missing and weathered away. Here, this piece in front is also here. You can see holes in it, air holes. You can see it's melted away here, and you can very strong force. They put here some bricks in it to repair it. So they did some repairs on the temple. It appears to be melted and struck by a strong electrical discharge, because the tops are darkened. Here you can see from a side view that it is all slided away. This whole piece is melted. You can't make head or tails. And you can see those windows are, they're happy, or they didn't finish it. Some people say they didn't finish it, and therefore it's not carved out. Or it was melted in such a way that actually the inside was filled up with a mesh from the top. You can see side view. You can see that it was basically sliced off like a bread almost, and everything fell down. You can see some repairs. This is the mountain. You can see in the other piece of the mountain they carved it out. In another angle, you can see actually everything sliced and fell down. It's all on a diagonal line here. It's all the same diagonal line. Here, even here, those cracks are in the same direction every time. So that's interesting. So the strike probably went this way on that diagonal line. And you look a little bit further, you can see some details here. You can see the rubble. You can see that it appears to be melted down. It appears to me that it looks very melted. Here, also here, this almost looks liquid between these heads here. It's almost a liquid stream. And you can see repairs. You see it's all cracked. All cracks in the structure all around. All kinds of cracks. And now this is just weathering with just some close-ups. The statues in there. You can see this is in India. Here you can see all those things, rubble that fell down. And that was sliced off on an angle and fell down. Here you can see it. Wham! Everything fell down and crushed down. So very strong force hit this structure. Maybe it wasn't even finished. Maybe it melted and therefore it looks a bit unfinished. There's two ways. And this is actually, you can also see this is repaired later on with bricks. This is the only place that you can go inside. The door was probably put in there later. You can see also the size of the door, because this iron doorway was pushed in to strengthen the structure. But if you take that door away, it's a very big door. So easily to fit this woman maybe 5 foot high, so 5 foot, 10 foot, near 13 feet. Actually, a person could fit in there. So that's interesting. Again, it's built in a size for very large. That also very large people can go in there, like many ancient structures. You get some weathering, but also you can see those Indian figures a bit, just to give you some. And also in the distance, you can see it almost looks like it is boiled here in the distance. Here you can brownish, and it also looks to appear to be almost boiled. This stone, very fluid. That it was fluid at one stage, and it dried up with a very rough surface, a surface that appeared to became liquid at one point. Here are some pieces that fell down, and they put it on the side, just to show you some pieces from the temple. And you can see the hill they carved it out of. But it was a very big task to carve it out. And something went wrong. You can see it very clearly, everything is destroyed. So there was, and also it's in that strike zone I showed you before very clearly. And here you can see another piece of it, there's some restoration. You can see also it appears to be melted again. Here's some more restoration. You can see that slicing off on the angle. And this is basically this temple. So this is the Masaru Temple in Pradesh in India, if you want to research it. This is another site. It's called the Midas Monument is in this location. And this is in Turkey. It's in the Eskişehir province in Turkey. You can see this is also a strike zone. You can see again on the strike zone itself, there you have the most trees. Here you have a line, and here a line. And here you have a bit of that electrical discharge. Like those Lindenberg figures I talked before, also around it. Because there are a lot of cities here and a lot of agriculture, farms, so therefore you can't see that strike zone not that clear as in some other areas. Basically here, on the top of here, this area, and here down under, a little bit even more down, but around this strike zone, you have this thing that I already showed before. This is the Midas Monument. It's also called the Gate of the Gods. You can clearly see, like we talked with Inchel, that it could be a living room. And actually the inside, you can see still a part of the inside, but the outside is all melted and struck by a strong force. You can see it's very dark patches on it, and it looks that it was melted. You can see it's very dark and a big crack in it. Again, a big crack in it. You can see some other pictures. They actually put 2 iron rods in it to keep the stones attached to each other. This is another side. You can see the size, how big this is. How big of a building it was actually. Probably the inside. And this is just a piece that is still, that is survived the strike. You can see that this thing beside it, it looks like a melted building. Like a melted Kindle.
Artist, do you reckon that's inside, or do you reckon that's been covered with something?
That was covered, probably, and it is blown away. Because you have a big space in front of it and just a sidewall. On the left, you have the sidewall. The rest is gone. It was struck. You can also see a little bit that the strike went from the distance like this. So from here to the guy standing here. Because it appears to have this kind of shape that is here. This is folded around the corner. Here on top it's also folded around the corner. So it came from this hill in the distance to this area, whammo, and it struck very hard and basically demolished all the building in an instant. Only this was still standing because probably this was the strongest part of the structure. You can clearly see very clearly that this whole side is very melted. Only this is still appears to be in good shape. Even the foundations look, and again they have all those air holes in them. Like you heat something, you get air holes. And this is basically a drawing. And here's another one. This is not the only one. No. In this whole area, there's another one. Here's the whole floor is missing. So it went like probably from right to left or from left to right. Wham! And this is the only thing that remains, and the rest is blown away. You can see here's still some detail over here and here of something that was there. Here, this goes out. This is basically a wall. You can see the foundations of the wall still there. So and here's the wall attached to this. So the whole foundations, and here a big crack. Here's one. And there are more cracks. You can't see them on this view, but here it cracked. Huh? A very strong force went through this place, that's for sure. Even near the river. What was here? Maybe it was in the shipping dock at some point. Because it's strange. You have only near in the distance. You have also that appears to, yeah, maybe these were statues. This was a building. This could be also a shipping dock because it's on a lake. It also goes further to the sea. It's strange because a rock like this, yeah, near water, you normally don't see that. So maybe there was a structure here, a shipping dock, and it blasted away. Here again, all these rocks in this area appear to be melted. Very melted surfaces. It almost looks like there was a building here. And it melted away. Here again, you have still those holes that survived, but it also looks like a building that was melted by a very strong force. Even this, here, this almost appears to be a church, maybe here. It has the shape of a church. But here, you see actually drippings. Here, it drips down. Here, like a dripping candle. Very clear. I mean, I can zoom in a bit. Yeah. Here, it drips down. Here also drips all the way down, like a candle. So maybe this was once a structure that looks like a church, but it's melted. Here you can see here it's a window, very slightly. Here you can see and the outside of a window, the spanning of a window. Here, another one. And the rest is gone. You can see.
Artist in the chat room, Asper.
Yeah.
She's asking, was it underwater? Lots of rounded edges.
Maybe it was such a big strike. I think it is heated. It appears to be heated. And maybe then after that it was flooded. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that because that was basically what happened in another strike zone in Peru and Bolivia. Most of the structures is still under the ground because it was first struck by a strong electrical discharge, and then it was overflooded by water. So it wouldn't surprise me that actually in this side the same thing happened. Again, here you can see staircase. And normally the staircase is inside your house. And now the staircase is outside. It is. Okay, this also, here you can see a piece here. This piece is fallen off. It probably was on top of here, but here's another piece in the ground. Here's another piece broken off. Here's another piece broken off. Here. Here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 probably pieces that were broken off by a strong force. This is basically, just with a modern day building, the strongest part of the building is where the staircase is. And that's more often you see that's why you often see those staircases still standing. Here, just like here, there's the staircase. The rest of the building is gone. It's maybe only the basement because it's like a bomb shelter, very strong, or the staircase. The rest of the building, yeah, it's missing. You see rubble lying around. And you can slightly make up the staircase still. So that's, yeah, interesting here. Another staircase. The rest is gone. You can see rubble lying here and around. Yeah, it doesn't show in this picture, but the rubble is lying in the surrounding area. Here you can see here a big chunk over here, a big chunk over here. It was probably on top. Up, bam, down, up, bam, down. All the pieces blasted off. And then you end up with a structure that is it's like almost like a war happened. If you have looking certain war countries there when a war happened, you also end up with this sometimes those structures that are very weathered and blasted. It almost looks like a nuclear bomb went off or something. Here, this is another angle. You can see this. Some people live near that area. Wow, I hope doesn't look very. Here, this you can see the size. This is very big, but you can see the surrounding areas. I always want to show the surrounding area. You can be here. This wall is still standing all the way, and here you can also see here's straight corner. But it appears to be the structure. And then this whole side, the front side is missing. Only the back side is still there. Here another one. Lots of weathering, a hole in it. Why is there a hole in it? I don't know. It's cracked also. Look, a very big crack here. Those holes again. Very low. Like a lot of ancient sites have those holes in them. Sometimes say, yeah, roof support. Yeah, sure, very low roof support because the people go to about this height. So roof support is way too low. And a strange hole. Like you have another strange holes also in Pumapunku. A lot of weathering. So it's very old. That's for sure. Here, another one, stairs. A lot of weathering on the stairs. Here, you have, yeah. The rest is gone. You see just a melted structure. It just, those stairs are not very sharp anymore. Everything, only this part is a little bit sharp. The rest is weathered and melted down. Because, yeah, where's the rest of the structure? Normally it would go here. Melted down, it's gone. By a very strong force. Here is a piece lying. Here you have the thing with the holes in. Another one. And here's a piece missing. And you can see a big stamp in it. Like somebody, it was liquid at one point. There's something fell on top of it. Yeah, a big press mark in it. So that's strange. Here a lot of rubble. Again, all fell down here. Big piece lying here, big piece, here, small piece. This is just what is left of it. Here, another one. Very strange here. It's all like melted candles. Candles that are burned off. The same type of shape a bit. Here, another one. Here's only this is standing. And the rest is weathered away. It's gone. This is only what was left. Because often, also with a more modern day house, this could be a chimney, just like Angel said last time. That it was a chimney. Yeah, it makes sense, a lot of sense. And often the strongest part of the house is your chimney and your staircase. And you see in all those pictures, what is left is the chimney and the staircase. And things look like chimneys or staircases, so that also makes sense. Another stair, the rest is gone. Maybe there was a statue over here, the rubble lying around here, all over the place. This is just like in Pumapunku, those staircases with the top blasted off. It's gone. And this is the surrounding area. This is on top. And this are the stones in the surrounding area. Again, this appeared to be pushed out of the ground, like I mentioned last time. Pushed out of the ground. Here you can actually see it. Here you have a crack, and this is pushed up. Makes sense to me. Here you can see the pieces of rubble. Here, this whole chunk. Here, there's lying chunks and bits and pieces. It's like a puzzle. Every part. Maybe this was just on top of this. Maybe this should be on top of this, and this on top of that. So it's demolished. You can see it here. There's pieces lying around. Demolished. Here, another side. Demolished. The whole top is gone. This is the top lying. All those pieces are lying here. It struck, wham, gone. It was probably this high, and the rest is blown off, and it's lying around. All the pieces, very clear to me. It was struck by a strong force. Here, another one, wham. All the pieces are lying around. It was struck by a very strong force. So this is all the sites in the Phrygian sites in Turkey. If you type in PHRYGEAN sites in Turkey, you will find all these sites. And just like in Peru and Bolivia, this is basically the line. Here is the line, and on the west of it is Peru, and this is Bolivia. So the border goes around here. You can see in the big strike zone, an Iron Ridge mountain. Here you can see a ripple effect. All the mountains are pushed aside here. Pushed aside. When near the strike zone goes down here. In this area, there is Pumapunku in Bolivia. You zoom in on that. So this over here, just over here. You have here a green patch. Here, green patch just in the middle. You have this site of Pumapunku in Bolivia. They were struck very, very, very hard by a very strong force. I will show you in a moment. Here, all the pieces are lying around, rubble. They are still excavating this site. And they only dug around 2 or 3 feet deep. Therefore, other stones and other aspects of this site are still in the ground. They also did some ground penetration radar in the south, and a lot of pieces and even holes and spaces are still underground, not excavated, because it's only allowed to dig 2 or 3 feet. And if you dig any further, it's not allowed for some reason. Maybe they are afraid of what they actually will find in there. This is Brian Forrester. And I asked him if I can use his material, and he's all very kind. I messaged my Brian Forrester and said, Brian, can I use your videos and presentations on the Sun and Moon group to tell my story? Oh, yeah, for sure. Go ahead. So it's very nice always. So always a big shout out to Brian Forrester. His name is over here. Just check his out. He talks a lot about ancient sites. And there's a lot of knowledge about them. He's a very, very, very nice guy. And he takes measurements on the side of Pumapunku. And here you have a compass. And he puts a compass on this stone. And he moves it around to see what happens. Here. Needle goes the whole other direction. Here. Facing this direction. He just slides it to the right. And the whole compass shows another direction. And he also does this with another structure. Here you can see those drilling holes. So very interesting, because the distance between those holes is every time exactly the same, within a thousandth of an inch. And he also puts this on this stone in Pumapunku. He puts this compass to see what happens. So he puts it on there and slides it. Well, just a couple of inches, and the whole compass goes in another direction. Then a little bit further, another direction. Just on this, it's not that big of an size, this stone, and just this short here. Now it's facing that direction. Just slides it a little bit, whole other direction. Slides it a little bit further, whole other direction. So all those stones have magnetic properties in them. Here, this is one of those H blocks. You probably know those H blocks in Peru. And he puts it on one of the H blocks over here. And he puts it just near that corner. And it points in this direction. And he just slides it a little bit to himself. Oh, sorry. Oh, that's in the next picture. These are the H blocks, just to give you an impression how those H blocks look like. Here's another picture of those H blocks in Pumapunku. And I just put 2 pictures between them. But if you can go here, it's pointing this direction. And he slides it a little bit towards himself. 90 degrees, perfectly 90 degrees. See? Here, it points that direction. He slides it to himself. Up, 90 degrees, exactly 90 degrees. So they have specific magnetic properties. Here, and then he slides it off the stone and it turns back in another direction. This is actually the north. So these stones affect compass very strongly. And this is just in that site of that was struck, the big strike zone I showed before, that map. And this is, those stones are all magnetic and also probably attract that strike force because it was so magnetic that it attracted the discharge because of those magnetic properties. So something went wrong in that side that attracted this electric discharge because it was magnetic, and then it attracts those discharges. The stones are still magnetic, only the whole place, like I showed before, is in rubble. It's stones lying all around, and there are still stones beneath. If he slides it another way, now he slides it from the front to the back, and then he slides it from here, from side to side, the compass goes in another direction. So every corner has another direction. If he slides it a little bit more to the right, the needle goes also in another direction, and he slides it a little bit to the left, goes in completely another direction. Maybe in a detail on the, it also has to do with something under it, but they move those stones around. So they are not actually on the location that they were found. They put them in a row. Like this. They weren't found like this. So they were found and they all put them in a row side by side. So the magnetic properties have to come from the stones themselves. Because they are all moved around. Not one stone is on its original place anymore. So that has to be the stones. Just thanks for that thing, because sometimes you don't think about things that you point out, and you think, wow, wait a second, he's right. Also in Egypt, if you go there with your compass and put it on certain obelisks and certain ancient sites in Egypt, your whole compass goes in all kind of directions. If you slide it on ancient structures, if you have an ancient structure near your site, take your compass to it and just slide it over it, and the chances of it has magnetic properties are very high. This is a strike stone and Lindenberg figures in Paradise, Andraha, Paradise in India. You can see Wemo. It's on an arc. What? Circle type struck. And if you go to this area over here, where these big patches, you can see all the mountains are flattened. So they're pushed out of the ground. Flat surface, flat, 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 flat. Most of them are flat. Not all of them, but most of them are flat. You can see that here, flattened on an angle a bit, but they are flat on top. Here are also flattened on top. They are pushed out of the ground by a very strong strike zone. This one, you can see it. Whammo. There he goes. This is the pushed out of the ground. And what is interesting, a guy actually took pictures on the road and was traveling a road in this area. And then he took this shot. I thought, what the fuck? There are pyramids. Yeah, he took another shot. Very pointy hills. I never seen those one. There's only 2 pictures on that whole road. This one he took. And then he took this one. You can see also they are closer together here. And he is a little bit further on the road. You can see 2 pyramid-shaped structures. Never seen them before, but it's just interesting. So if anybody like to do some research in that strike zone area, you never know. This is in the Andraha Paradise in India. So that you know where that area is. So that's interesting. And also you can see the place name. So if you look for this place name in India, you can find it area. And basically, he traveled this road. You can see those pictures he took. And further down the road, he also took pictures. And again, you can see on that strike zone that the mountains were pushed up. They did do some excavation. I think this is fluorite. So they extract fluorite from this area, like you have in your toothpaste. Yeah, black fluoride mine in this area. So it attracts all kinds of certain stones, or metals or iron. Also near that area, there's these structures I never seen before. There's nothing known about these towers. There are a couple around, I think 4. These are still sticking out. Maybe all old USTM towers. No. I don't know, but it's interesting that you have in the middle of the jungle, where nobody goes, there's no living soul in that area. You have these big stone structures. You can see they are overgrown a lot, so they were there for a very long time. And also near that same area is this the Masaru Temple. Is in Antrapur district, Nantapur district in India. You have here, you can see again stones lying around here, a lot of stones in this area. Here, all the stones, see all the stones. They were basically, well, you can see in the next picture, they were thrown around. Because here you have the temple, and there's the stone. It struck the temple. Whammo! A big boulder. Like they are lying around here, all kinds of boulders that fell down very clearly. And one fell on the temple. Bam! And they carved something out of it. That is, yeah, that ain't the Indian god. I don't know his name. Ganesha or something. It's called. That god of India, that the elephant-like type of god. So they carved it out of the rock to worship that stone, basically, put a temple on it and make a worship place of it. That's what they often do with those in those areas. And this is just another strike zone. And this is in Mexico. And bam, you can see here. A very big crater, and here, if you go closer, you can see they are excavating. Again, they are excavating fluoride from this mountain. Here, there's a piece of fluoride they excavated from that area. This is basic fluoride. If you put it on ultraviolet light, it lights up like this, and it's also made toothpaste from fluoride. But this was basically the presentation. If there are any questions, we'll be glad to ask them. Let's get that Colgate logo away, because I don't want to make... Otherwise, we get a strike from the Colgate company.